What are you eating today, man?
Pizza.
Pizza. Nice.
Fucking delicious.
Is that like what Italian pizza or Jersey pizza?
Both. All right.
All right, we're live. We're going. G'day, g'day. Welcome to this episode of Not So Secret Dad's Business. I'm one of your hosts, Nate. And as always, well, no, for our first time, we have Sideways Gonzo. What's happening, Judge?
Clearly, I'm about to fall off the fucking planet. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on,
Who gives a shit?
but this is how you're gonna get me today. So fuck you.
How's your week been, man?
Good, man. Good. School's almost over. I can't complain. Um, that's it, man. I just want
So,
more summer.
so what, school being over as in over for the school year?
I got out 4 days off,
Yep.
and I got to start summer programming.
Oh, so you do summer school as well?
No teacher I know, not one, doesn't have a fucking job over the summer.
For
Not
real?
one. I don't understand why all these people are like, oh, well, fucking teachers get off all summer. I don't know a fucking single teacher that doesn't work over the summer and does something. It's not sustainable.
So you don't get paid a salary then?
Only for 12, only for 12 months. I can spread it out to an escrow, but then you get paid less.
Yeah, got ya.
So
Fair
it's
enough.
all right.
No,
How's
well,
welding?
yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing. I fucking love it, but it's one of those things. I guess you don't work, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
man. I tell you
I
what,
would
though.
like to fucking remind you. Hey, your
Hey,
mother's
what the
ass. Hold on.
fuck are you doing?
There you go.
Hey,
All right. Look at me.
go, Judge. Yeah, no, you want to
Um,
remind me what?
our next show is our fucking annual Bad Father's Day gift show. And I'm so fucking excited.
Fuck yes, man.
That one is the highlight of my year.
Yeah, man. Like I say, I've been looking at lists and shit too, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like I saw. No, I'm not. We'll leave it for next week.
Don't,
We'll leave it for next
don't
week.
do it. Don't do it. We got to leave it.
Gotta leave it. Gotta leave it. But anyway, guys, I know we weren't here last week, and I want to touch on this because I think it's fucking important.
Yeah,
I
go
had
for
to
it.
I had to take the week off because I was in a fucking shit pit. I don't know why. I guess my hormones were all over the place. Maybe I was on my period. I don't know. But
Right.
I spent last Sunday morning fucking crying on and off just at the drop of a fucking hat. No
Yeah,
idea
you
why.
said it. So now, is it like mine where it's mania, where it just comes on out of nowhere for like a day? And then the next day you're like, oh, I'm fucking perfectly fine.
No, because it was there was a lead up to it. So I'm on this medication at the moment to help me quit smoking.
Right.
So rather than having a nicotine replacement, this medication it 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 actually blocks the nicotine from spit it out. It blocks the nicotine from attaching itself to the nicotine center, the receptors in the brain. And
Okay.
at the same time, it also helps level out the dopamine. So then you're not craving nicotine as well. So
So what went wrong?
one of the side effects is it gives you lucid dreams.
Oh, fucking awesome.
And I 3 nights in a row, I was dreaming about my dog, Bella. And so I'd wake up in
Right.
the middle of the night and roll over because she used to sleep next to like my side of the bed. I'd wake up,
Yeah.
roll over to give her a pat and realize she's not there and it's just a dream. So
Right.
then I went through a few days where I was like, oh, I miss my dog, miss my dog. Um, and I guess that sort of brought me into like a low trough. But then, yeah, Sunday, man, I woke up and I just felt like a fucking piece of shit, like
Yeah.
I felt like I was letting everybody down. I felt bad about everything. I just
Right.
didn't feel good about myself. I don't even know what it was, man. But
Well, in in your defense, when you told me and Rob were like, "Get it, man, do it," and then we started to make you feel better because we started to make you laugh. And you're like, "Well, fuck it, let's do it anyway." I'm like, "It's not that simple." So Rob and I actually made like the executive decision to tell
Yeah.
you, you fucking know, because something like that you want to process anyway, because you
Yeah,
don't know where the fuck it's coming from.
I don't know if I'm getting a little more red pill with the whole man side of things. Because I mean, let's
Right,
face it, the elastic band's being stretched with the feminists and all that sort of shit. And I
right,
was just in that position where I was like, fuck, you know what? Maybe I just need to grab my nuts and push through.
right,
But like you said, I wouldn't have been myself, and it would have affected the show. And so you guys
right.
made the right call just to pull the pin.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was
Well,
bummed out because last we were going to do the beans on toast last week, so
now we got to wait
we
because
got to
I
wait.
bought them, so we have them. I'm just
Yes.
fucking waiting
Did you
for it.
go out by the bushes then?
Let's no, yes, I did,
Yeah, good man.
but I got ones with like the sugar on them because I already don't want to fucking do this, so I had to make it like a little. Yeah, they're like sweet ones
Oh,
because
okay,
anything
fair
else, I'm
enough.
gonna fucking barf, and then everyone's gonna see that shit. Um, so let's address the elephant in the room. I guess this fight isn't fucking happening now. Mike's got ulcers.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I had Andre message me this morning. He's like,
I
"Is
saw,
Judge gonna lose his
I
shit over
saw,
this?"
I saw. No, actually, when I saw it, I was like, all right, and then I was like, this is probably for the best anyway, because we always talked about the only respectable outcome is a murder in the first 15 seconds, and then apparently someone in the know, or they claim they're in the know. Everyone's a fucking liar. Said that there was a stipulation that Mike wasn't allowed to knock him out in the first round. And like this guy went on saying he had some inside fucking
Oh
information
yeah,
about
that
how
was
that was a fucking rule.
Kel Hazy. He's
Yeah,
a ex well former British boxer. So I mean
right.
he knows boxing, but
Um, but it, outside of that, not happening is probably the fucking best thing. Because if Mike's got medical shit and can't do it, this asshole can't be like, he's fucking afraid. The thing was a circus from the beginning anyway. So
yeah.
at this point, if he can't do it, just let it die. That like no money lost. It's not like it was the night before. Netflix was like, we're gonna fucking run it live or whatever the fuck it is. Just fucking forget it. Just
Yeah.
forget it.
Because
Because
like you say, no money lost, no dignity lost,
right
no
outside outside of a murder, having it not happening at all is the second. Actually, it's probably the best thing. It's probably the best thing that's not happening at all.
I
So let's just
I feel
fucking
the
act
same.
like. So let's act like it never fucking happened.
Yeah.
Because it's not like Mike said I can't do it because of whatever. He's got medical shit. So if he's got medical shit, all right, well then it's done. Like let's not even go there now. Now we can put it to rest. We got enough fucking circus things going on. We
Mhm.
got man and bear. We got this. We got the the Trump stuff in the indictments. Like we got enough shit going on. We got
Mhm.
it's bad enough as it is. So it's just like, you know what? This is probably for the best. Like maybe people can go back to watching actual boxing now.
Mm. Well, it's like you
Because
said, was it 2, 3 weeks ago that social media is like the source of your aggravation lately?
it is.
And
It is.
once you said that, it dawned on me that it's like that's where I'm always getting pissed off.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
I'll touch on this one later, but I saw one this week that Christine showed me, and I've been pissed off about it all week, and there's no reason why I fucking should. And
yeah.
so I even said to Christine, I'm at a point that I want to get off social media. Like I've got
Yeah.
the Instagram for the podcast,
Right.
I've got a page on Facebook for the podcast, but I'm considering just getting rid of Facebook and just
In
having any socials for the podcast on Instagram alone
yeah.
because I don't
In
scroll through Instagram.
now in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, when Jay's like, what the fuck is the internet? Ben Affleck 20 years ago, 25 years ago, gave the best definition of what it is.
He
It's a
did, eh?
place where people go on and fucking bitch about fucking bullshit and make each other mad. Like that's exactly what it fucking turned out to be. Like you
Yep.
figure, so, but again, I need it, you know, not just for just to stay in contact with people who I don't talk to
Yeah.
regularly. It's the best way to do it. But I will never venture outside of Instagram and Facebook. Like you know, but you know that we've had the shit talk conversation before.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking doing that. But now it's infecting everywhere. people making fucking dummy accounts, this one talking about this one, people disrespecting themselves for clout. I'm just like, dude, it's a clown show, dude. It's a clown show, and I
And
don't
it's
know what
funny,
more
it's been slowly taken over the group chat as well. I
Yeah.
love you, Rob, but man, you spend too much time on shit talk, my friend.
Yeah, he said that though too. He
Oh,
said
he
that
did,
though
yeah.
too. And I don't mind a reel every once in a while, even when they have that logo on them, because I'm not getting on that. Like I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm not getting on. There was another. So I want to talk comic for you for a second because it kind of goes into people. It's an interesting in-depth look at people, right? So people read comics for escapism, right? This is my character, that's my character. Heroes should be heroes, villains are villains. Blur the line in between every once in a while. There was a book, a graphic novel. Well, it was a series, but it was a graphic novel that came out a while ago by Tom King called Heroes in Crisis. I'll be doing Anthony Desiato show, Digging for Kryptonite. He swore off reading it because of the content, and I told him it's funny because the same thing you complain about is the same thing his character Superman talks about in the book. Heroes in Crisis is they make a place called Sanctuary using Kryptonian technology so that heroes can go basically have a retreat where they sit in a confessional and they talk about their problems too. People either hated it or loved it. They hated it because they're like, I don't want Superman to have, PTSD or issues or whatever. Like, I want my superhero super. And I was like, dude, it's one of the best. It's Tom King, so automatically it ranks pretty high on my scale. But it was one of the best collections I've ever read. It is also horrifying, fucking horrifying. Every time someone gets into a confessional, it's like the old school 9 panels from back in the 60s and 70s. It's kind of how they laid out everything. And like everyone gets in there. Batgirl gets in there and she doesn't do anything. She goes, "Oh, you want to see?" And then she shows the bullet wound of where the Joker hit her. And even just her showing that, like, that's not what we see in, issue 50 of whatever. Like, you needed something like this. And at one point, dude, a couple of times I had to stop reading it and like take a step back. At one point, Harley Quinn is in the confessional and she's saying a joke that the Joker told her. And then there's three. So she tells the joke. Then there's 3 empty panels. And she goes, and then he hit me really hard. And I'm like, oh, like you always know that they have a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
And every once in a while you'll see her like him smack her in the thing. But like, this is a different, like the tone was set to be realistic.
Yeah.
And then
wow.
Roy Harper, the dude who like back in the 60s and 70s was shooting up, right? He was doing dope and it was big. It was on the cover. He talks about that and like how he was just using painkillers because he's a human being who shoots an arrow. So if he gets beat up, he can't heal from that shit. So he's like, I was doing painkillers. He's like, because heroes, that's what they do. They save people or they save things. And then at the end, he's like, and then I went to heroin because it was cheaper and, heroes save things. And that's it. That's where the fucking panel ends. And so it's so good. It's so like, people don't like the boys because it takes our superheroes and gives them issues, but it overdoes them, right?
Yeah.
Like way fucking overdoes them. This kind of balances on that edge where it was like, well, Wonder Woman shouldn't be upset about anything. Superman should be fucking super all the time. But it goes into like the shit that they have, and it's fucking heartbreaking, dude. And it does not have a good ending, like at all. Like it is dark and depressing.
I'm not a comic
finish.
book guy. I never have been. I mean, even as a kid, I struggled reading them because I could never figure out which bubble to read first and shit like that. But that one sounds good. I might even have to look into that.
Fucking good. And of course, people like, look, they got the right to say about whatever. They don't like it because of that. They're like, I don't want to hear about superheroes' problems. And I said, I like my superheroes now more because they have those problems. Like, why are they immune from shit like that? It is fucking amazing. It came out years ago. It is amazing. It's amazing.
I could see how
pick that shit up.
I can see how it'd be divisive for comic book fans because you'd have 2 people on each side of the fence. Yeah. But here's an opinion from a non-comic book guy is that although these people are superheroes, they're superheroes because of the powers that they've got, right? That's what makes them superheroes. So just because Superman can shoot, what have X-ray vision and
Yeah,
fucking fly faster than a speeding bullet, does not mean that he doesn't have psychological issues because of the shit
right.
that he does.
And that's why I liked it. And
Yeah,
turns out that's why
exactly.
people fucking hated it. They tore it to shreds.
Yeah, we got Nip
And I
Slip
was,
in the chat, and he said it's great because it shows they're still human with human issues per se.
oh,
So
it's,
yeah.
dude, it is like, it's a page turner, but it's also never gets better. Even when the public finds out about Sanctuary and the fucked up thing that happened, I'm not going to spoil it. But Superman's like, dude, we got to address this with people. And in his speech, it's like, you like, look, we are, yes, we have these powers, but we also are not immune to trauma. Like, we
Mm.
all have PTSD from the shit that we do and the shit that we have to go through. And that's why people are like, no. I'm like, fuck you, no. And it goes back to, like, the whole thing, like you can't have it perfect, because then it doesn't make it, like, when you hear that the Joker killed 100 people in a fucking warehouse, you're like, oh, it's fucking Joker. But for some reason, when Harley Quinn's like, and then he hit me hard, I was
Yeah.
like, God damn, like, there's just something about that, especially because the tone was set in the book already. It was like, holy shit. Dude, it was really good.
So help me
It's highly
understand something
recommended.
then. They've got the sanctuary, right? With made
Right,
from Kryptonian technology, you said. So
right.
that's for superheroes. Why is Harley in there then?
She actually ends up sneaking in because Ivy has to go there. So
Oh,
she ends
okay.
up there too.
But isn't Ivy
Um,
also a villain?
yeah, but
Or are they again still like kind of like
they
Lobo, where they're like a fucking right on the
it's a real
border,
blurred
like
it's
an
a real
anti-hero?
blurred line thing. It's a real blurred line thing.
Yeah,
I think people had an issue with that too. But now that the summer's coming, I'm back to reading full for, dude. I finished Fairy Tale, the Stephen King book,
yeah.
540 pages in like 2.5 days.
How is
Like,
it?
I'm right back into, like, it was fucking so good. He managed to have a happy ending and a sad ending in one fucking book, and he does it in the only way that it was good.
Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna have to get
fast.
it. Yeah, you've
It
been
reads
talking
fucking.
about it
It
for a
is.
couple of
It
weeks.
is
I've got to get it.
thick. It's fast. And then I just ordered a Clive Barker book because he put out something new. And we went to my friend's daughter's first birthday today, and we went up to uh, New Hope, Pennsylvania, and Peddler's Village. And I found a book written by, because now Peter Pan, it's all open source. Like, you could talk about it. Like, no one owns it anymore. I think even Mickey Mouse is open. So, like, I'm not sure how that works. Like, I'm not a lawyer like that, but now you can put him in anything and it's okay. He's public domain
Yep.
for whatever fucking reason. So this woman, so I saw a cut off hand and a hook. Peter Pan story. Peter Pan being my favorite fucking, like, favorite story, even before the Disney version, the J.M. Barrie version.
Yep.
Um, Turns out that Jazz Hook was his first lost boy, and it turns out that Peter is a fucking maniac and set it all up just so he's got someone to fucking fight. And I remember, before he was public domain, someone else was going to write that the Lost Boys and Peter are demons. That is why they don't age. And every once in a while, they just bring adults there so they have people to fucking kill. That's not this one, but I'm excited about this one too. Now one's shorter; it's like 300 pages or whatever.
Mm.
But yeah, man. But summer's coming, man. I'm fucking chilling. I got 2 more weeks of basically putting in grades, and so we got a big raise too.
Yep.
Well, the ink isn't dry on the thing yet because people could still vote on it. But if it goes through, I'm gonna get like 7,100 extra dollars next year. Sarah's getting like 35, which is
Fuck yeah.
perfect because it looks like we're gonna be here. We were talking about we might do another year here, especially because the housing market being what it is, and
Yeah.
then just bank all that fucking extra. I don't know. It's old people shit, dude. Like, that's what
Old
we're
people
doing
shit.
right now.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean.
Old
Yeah.
people shit. But we were looking up that too because I told Sarah to go down the rabbit hole of cost of living. She even did Australia too. In
Yeah.
order to live comfortably in Australia, a single, well, again, depending on province, like depending on where you are, they said in order for a single person to live comfortably, they need to make $79,000 in
Mm-hmm.
order to live considered fucking comfortably.
Yep.
And here it's 90. Not many people who are single who have a job are making $90,000 a year. So it
Nope.
just lets you know, like, what the fuck, man? Like, how are people doing anything?
Well,
Like,
look.
how are
I mean, Christine and I both bring in a full-time income, and we saw a house just up the road. Now, granted, we're in a 3 bed, 1 bath, right? This
Right,
house that just went up for rent is a 4 bed, 2 bath, so it
right,
is slightly bigger. But that went up for rent for 680 a week, I think it was.
right.
And I said to Christine, like, even where we're at now, on a double income, I don't think we'd be able to survive if our rent went up or if we had to move and find another place.
That's fucking madness,
Like, Matt had
especially with
to,
perfect. Yeah,
yeah, sorry, Matt had to move recently. He couldn't find a place in the area that is in good condition for anything
yeah,
under 700 a week. He's had to
yeah.
move his whole family out bloody 3, 4 hours up the mountains, and
Like
he's
just to
having to
get
get
something livable.
just to get something livable. And so, I said to Christine, like, what the fuck are we gonna do? We're gonna have to move somewhere where it's
Yeah.
cheaper.
Um, which kind of segues into the other thing. So the other night I sent Nate a song on 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 Facebook, and I was like, check it out, man. He's like, oh yeah, it's pretty good. Um, it's weird. It's fucking weird. There's a website called Suno where now AI makes music. You can
How
go
fucking
on,
cool is it?
you can go on and be like, make me a metal song with a China breakdown that's about violence. And it will in fucking seconds, 30 seconds, 35 seconds, it'll give you two versions
Yeah.
of a fucking song with slight variations in it. I made Sarah a cheerleading mix. You said you made like a love song. Like, I don't know where I stay. Like, I know people are talking about that, but like, what happens with jobs now, right? Like, I don't know. Like, are we all just gonna be working for Walmart and Amazon, like the buy and large thing from Wally? Like, is that where we're going? Because how many other fucking jobs? Like, look. Obviously, AI cannot make anything new. That is the thing behind it. It
Yeah.
can only steal from what it sees, parts it all together, and gives you whatever it is. Then
Yeah.
some people can like make variations of it and make it, but they're not artists. Like, I know that's a big thing right now. Like, and now people are jumping on. They're like, oh yeah, but you're an artist because like it's AI art. Like, yeah, but all you're doing is writing a prompt.
That's
Like,
it.
that's all you're doing. You're not making it. You're writing a prompt. So I don't think it's art. I think it's fucking weird and super cool that I put in, I want this kind of music, and the shit farted it right out. But
Mm.
it's still really weird
Yeah.
because it's fucking straight. It's fun to play with,
Oh,
but like, I wouldn't
absolutely.
start an AI band, right? You know what I'm
I don't,
saying?
yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I
I
sent it
think
to you.
I
What was
think it would
your?
be a good idea. Like, if you've got an idea for a song, say you're a songwriter, you have an idea for a song, but you wouldn't know where to start with it, you could put
Yeah,
that prompt in and then it gives
right.
you an idea, and then you could take
Yeah,
those chords and change it up, maybe tweak the
yeah.
lyrics or change the
Because
lyrics, or yeah.
right, because we wanted to play one here. And what did you find out?
Okay.
Tell everyone what you found out, because that's wild.
Yeah, so
No
I
one
found
owns
out.
that, but
Yeah,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
found out with the free version, you get 50 credits a day. So I've worked out that basically 5 songs a day that you can
right.
create. But Suno still owns the rights to all of that. Anything that the AI makes, they own.
Which
Now,
to me
if
that's weird because it's not theirs; it's an amalgamation of other things.
exactly, but if you then pay the $8 a month or whatever, you then do get commercial rights to use it. So then you've got licensing rights. So
Yeah,
that's essentially what the membership is, from what I can understand,
yeah.
is paying for licensing rights.
But
Now,
I sent it to you, and you went bonkers over this fucking thing
I did, man,
because it is
because
real.
music
It's
is my shit. I
yeah,
love music, man. And
yeah,
so I first thing I did, I was like, write a song about how much I love my
yeah,
foul mouth chucklehead co-host on the podcast. I make a death metal song, and then
yeah,
it comes up with like fucking dark souls, foul words, fucking
yeah.
blood
Yep.
dripping grammar, and
Yeah.
fucking
And
podcaster training. I'm like, what the
guys,
fuck? This is
30 in 30 seconds, it makes two versions. 30 fucking seconds.
yeah,
And I guess AI artworks that like I've never used it before. Like, because I think Mid Journey costs a shit ton of money to do. And I know there's like ones you can get for free, but they're shit. Like, I've never done it before. I know the more specific your prompt is, the more specific the art is, but it still makes an extra finger. Like at one point, it put a face in like I saw one. It put a face in like Wolverine's bicep. I was like, shit, like that freaks me out because it's uncanny valley. Like I don't like to look at stuff like that.
Yeah, I actually
But
noticed that at work. They made a poster with AI for last year's Christmas party, and the picture is meant to be Santa using an angle grinder.
right,
And so you look at it, and Santa's there. There's a grinder, and there's sparks coming off the wheel, but there's
right,
nothing to the rest of the tool. His hand is
yeah,
resting on the guard, kind of thing. And
yeah,
so, like, it's only half done the tool. I'm
yeah.
like,
It
yeah,
can only
that's
right.
like you
I did,
glance at it, you wouldn't notice it. But when you really look at it, you're like, wait, that's way off.
yeah. And we talked about it before. That now there's websites, not the thing that we talked about, but something similar. There's AI porn all over the place,
Yeah.
all over the place, and it's making regular porn just obsolete because you could be like, I want a 15-inch fucking black dick and I want a chick with big fucking boobs, and computers like, yep, here you go. And it's like, next it'll be videos. Like it'll just be like, we're just gonna make you a fucking like we'll make you a 20-minute porn video of exactly what you want. The only problem is now everything it still looks weird when it moves, and I don't like extra finger. Like again, it's the uncanny valley thing, right? Like I don't like extra fingers. Like I don't
Yeah.
like when like the mouth looks weird, like because it's your brain going, that's a human, but it's your eyes going, no, it's fucking not.
Yeah,
So
that's
it makes
right.
it a really weird situation. But yeah, it's fucking it's I don't know, man. I don't know, like I don't know what it, I don't know what's gonna happen with anything. Like normally you kind of get where the puck is gonna go and be like, oh yeah, like 10 years, this will be. I have no fucking idea. Dude, I
No.
explained to my fucking kids at school, I said we are 100 and some odd years away from having like from the time where people were shooting each other in dirt roads in front of saloons. Like we
Yeah.
are not that fucking far away from that, man.
No,
Like
not at all.
that was less than 100 feet,
Yeah,
less
that's
than 150
1880s,
years ago.
1890s. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And it's just
exactly.
like, and they and that baffled them. I was like, yeah. And then I saw another thing today. They said if Marty McFly went back in 2024, instead of going back to 1955, he'd go back to 1980. So shit like that just engineered to make you feel old. But like, what the fuck is next? Like is Wally next? Are we all just
Oh,
gonna
I
sit in a
could tell
chair?
you
Like,
what's next because I saw a video this week. The
oh boy,
first, so you know how Elon Musk has been working on this Neuralink technology? The first recipient has
right,
a Neuralink, and he was showing how this shit works. And so he had a game of chess up on his computer screen, and he
right,
was explaining how it works. And they're like, "Are you like you're moving the cursor on the screen without touching the mouse? Is that following like your eyes? Is it
right.
tracking with your eyes?" He goes, "No, I'm looking at you right now. I'm only thinking about where I want that cursor to move to, and it moves
Oh
to that
shit.
point."
So we're gonna get cyberpunk, like
Yeah.
where everyone's gonna have implants and shit. That's
And
dude,
then
I don't
what?
know.
How far does that go then? Are you able to then read each other's thoughts or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
because you think Neuralink, that's all gonna then be on one server, all that information. And then that's
Yeah.
where AI is then gonna get really scary, honestly, because
Did
then it's
you?
like, oh shit, now we know how humans actually think,
Yeah.
and then it
Speaking
becomes
of which,
sentient.
did you see? So Sarah was watching it, and I sat down. Let's talk about fucking stupid TV shows we should never start fucking watching. I watched the 3-part documentary in one fucking sitting. Sarah started watching. I sat down, and I was like, it was like a train wreck. The Ashley Madison thing. Did you see that?
I've heard about it. I've read a lot about it. I haven't watched it yet.
I do not remember the leak. I think I remember hearing about it, but so
Oh
it
yeah,
pushed
yeah.
out a
There
bunch of
was a
people's
there was a hack.
information.
They got hacked, and
Yeah,
then all the data got
right,
leaked, and hackers
right.
were
And
like
people are going
contacting
through it.
spouses, and
Right. And so this Sam and Nia, the two idiots that were singing fucking, right? So I'm watching it and you kind of start to feel for them because he's a guy, he was bored in his relationship, right? So he ends up fucking around, but then they find this YouTube channel and they really start to connect. And you're like, oh shit, like maybe they're gonna pull it through, but he's holding on to this fucking secret. They split them for the interview, and then at the end, fucking spoiler alert, there's two seats and they appear next to each other. They decided to work it out. they're working through their marriage and stuff like that, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool. Then when they bring up that Ashley Madison is still around, which by the way, now it has more people on it than ever before, because like they always say, the best time to fly in a plane is right after something fucked up happens in a plane, because now everyone's on high alert. So I was with him. I was like, good for them, man. She's a really good chick. You know, I made a mistake or whatever. She forgave me. And then he's like, yeah, man, that website's just evil. And right there, I'm like, you're a fucking asshole. Because then all the shit you talked about taking responsibility, you didn't take responsibility. You cried, you got your fucking wife back. No, motherfucker, you were evil. Like, you did all this shit. If I put a gun in your hand, you have to fucking then shoot that gun. Yeah. If I put an axe in your hand, you can then decide, do I want to put it down and chop a tree, or do I want to kill a fucking child? Like, Ashley Madison didn't make you do anything. Nothing. Yeah. So when he turned around, he said, oh, well, that's terrible. That website's evil. No, it is not. There's nothing evil about anything in this fucking world. It is people who then make the decisions to make it fucking evil. Look at the fucking internet. Oh, I can look this up. Yeah, now you can also fucking, you can make fun of each other. You can bully each other to the point of death. You can send death threats. There's fucking kid stuff out there. Like, so no, nothing is inherently evil. Wait, let me think about that before I put that out there. Yeah, like nothing. All right, so very little is actually inherently evil then. It's whatever you fucking do with it.
People are evil. That's the thing. I think that's the point that has to be made. There's nothing really evil. It's the people using that. Like, and that's the
last thing that he said. And then she said something, and then the episode ended. I was like, all the respect I had for him giving it up, finally owning up to it, putting all the shit out there, which he lied to her in front of their audience like twice. So she got no fucking reason to take his ass back. Yeah. But at first I was like, oh, you know what? It's kind of cool. Like, they're working it out. And then when he's like, oh, that website is just evil. Immediately I was like, so you're still not taking responsibility for anything.
But you can say the same about fucking OnlyFans. You can have a porn addiction and sign up to OnlyFans and then blame the website. You're the one that decided, because it's not like you just make an accident, click a link and, oh, naked women. You have to log in. You've got to fucking put in your payment details. You've got to make a concerted effort in order to use that.
Yeah.
So, Same
I also saw, see, and again, fucking social media drove. Oh, the one thing I do want to say is you have to, if you have not, Sal Volcano from Impractical Jokers and of What Say You podcast fame.
Yeah, he's just done his first stand-up special, hasn't he?
Fucking hilarious, dude. It's a laugh every 5 seconds. It is amazing. If you have not seen it, go fucking see it. And I thought about a cool way that we can kind of like get more out there. I know we got a small audience, and I know we have no sponsors and shit, but sometimes if you go buy something, say I'm like the Comics on Coffee thing, I'm like, go get it, right? When you make the order, like, you could usually be like, well, where did you hear from us? And it's like, this like podcast or whatever.
Discount code.
So, right. Or if you watch something on fucking YouTube, be like, oh, I heard about this on this show, right? Like, I don't know if that's going to get anywhere, but like, we do talk about a lot of shit. So like, fucking Creeporama just got another shirt. I got a Hellraiser shirt from Creeporama. I'm fucking excited. But like, if you ever do get something that you hear from here, just somewhere in their fucking shit, be like, and I heard about it on this fucking show, because it's kind of cool, right? But there's a fucking TikTok dancer fucking girl. Like, so I went down the rabbit hole. Like, all her videos are her doing the same fucking dance. It's like all like the trend dances, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in one, she climbs up on a blue Lamborghini to the point where she cracks the front windshield, and then she's putting like dents in the top, and then does the dance to be like, what, fuck you, I can just afford another one. And these are the people that you're giving your fucking money to. I remember I watched a video where this dude goes on and he trashes this fucking OnlyFans chick, because she was like, I hate men. Men are a means to an end. They just give me money. And I'm like, so you guys are going to continue to give her money? Like, after that? Dude, I don't know what's going on. I don't. Like, I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess we're too old for this shit. Like, Murtaugh, Like that's what it feels
Yeah,
like.
yeah, yeah,
It feels
yeah.
like I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I put my head down, I go to work, I come home, I watch a fucking movie, I hang out with my kid. But like I'm worried for him now. Like, do you have a fear for like what is going to be happening with Eli or like anybody listening and shit? Like, because I know that Andre got kids, right? Like, is anyone afraid of what the next 10 years are going to be like when your kid's 15, 16, and the shit that they have to deal with then? Because it's petrifying to me.
It is, man. Look, I mean, we've just had that confirmed with Eli this past week, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah. So we don't let him on YouTube for the pure fact that, you know, you can just go next video, next video, next
Yeah.
video, and you end up going down that rabbit hole, right?
Right.
You never know what fucking comes up. So he was hanging out with his aunt last week, sometime
Right.
last week, whatever. And she's let him watch YouTube
Right.
and she's dozed off, had a bit of a nap. So
Okay.
he's just going down a bit of a rabbit hole.
Click, click. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and he was watching something, and then it went on to like a creative channel where they were making monsters out of clay.
Cool.
And then the YouTube algorithm has gone, okay, this
If you
person
like this,
is into monsters. So
right.
then it showed Pennywise taking Georgie down the drain and biting Georgie.
Oh, yeah.
And so I
Yeah.
went to bed the other night. I had an early night because I was shattered. And then Christine's put him to bed. He's come back down 20 minutes later. And he's like, Mum, I can't sleep. And she's like, why? She goes, because I'm scared of the clown that bites little boys. And she
Oh
goes,
boy.
that's Pennywise. You know who Pennywise is, right? He goes,
Right.
yeah. She goes, is Pennywise real? He goes, no, he's made up. She goes, exactly. So do we need to be scared about imaginary clowns? She's like,
Right.
no. And then straight away, she's on the phone to her sister. Right. I'm serious. From now on, no more fucking YouTube. It's not
Yeah.
fucking happening.
Right.
So, you know, if that's how it's working, like, nah, man, like, what else is going to be out there? Especially when they're, like we said, we're talking about AI. What's going to end up being AI generated?
Yeah, that's my issue, right? Like, and I know we talked about it before with the treatment or what they were saying for fucking pedos, right? Like, oh, give them this. It's like fucking, but I'm like, but it's not going to stop there. Like, that is my issue. And it's
Mhm.
now looking so real. If you make an AI thing and then let's just say you face swap someone on it, like someone you don't like, a chick that you don't like, right? Like someone did you wrong. And then you upload that, that's going to ruin her life. And she didn't do anything,
Dude, that's already
right?
been happening though. Those fucking deep fakes have been happening for years now. But
Yeah,
they're
but now
getting
they're
better and
even
better and
better.
better.
Yeah, now they're even fucking better. And it's just like the thing that freaks me out is you used to be safe in certain situations that you put yourself in.
Yeah.
Now, if someone has your picture, period, you're fucked. Unless you got a couple fucking tattoos, because that's always going to clear you. If you don't, it's really fucking hard
Yeah.
because it can't do that.
No.
Right? It's always going to fuck him up. It's going to make him look weird. But yeah, dude, that's fucking scary. Plus, now they found another fucking room in a pyramid and they want to know what's in it. Can we leave Imhotep alone, please? Don't fucking open it. Just leave it alone. There's a reason why it was far away from anybody to find. Can you leave the possible plague
Oh,
causing
dude.
room closed?
I know, man. Like, look, I've lately been going on a bit of a history podcast binge. And I mean,
Yeah.
I've been going deep. I'm
Yeah.
talking Mesopotamia, fucking
Nice, dude.
um, like talking about fucking Alexander the Great. Eli and I have been watching the 10-part doco series on Alexander
Yeah.
the Great on Netflix. Um, oh, a side quest on that one is Eli and my middle name is Alexander. All right. And
Right.
in my mum's side of the family, I think it goes back four, maybe five generations where the middle name is Alexander of the oldest son. And
Nice.
I said to Eli, like, that name comes from Alexander the Great. Like he was one of the most prolific conquerors in the world,
Yeah.
in world history, you know, and this. And I said, I wanted to give you that name because it has a lot of power. And then he came to me one day. He goes, hey, Dad, you know how the Macedonian Greeks are our ancestors? And I went, what? He goes, you know how the
Yeah.
Macedonian Greeks are our ancestors? Well, I was thinking, I went, no, no, wait. Why do you think that they're our ancestors? He goes, because Alexander the Great. You told me that's how we got our name. I'm like,
Oh,
no,
names
buddy.
passed down. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not Greek. But yeah, so I've been learning all about that. And like I say, I didn't realize that there were several Cleopatras. Like the Cleopatra that we
Yeah.
know is not the only Cleopatra. She's just the most famous one because
Right.
again, it's like with the Julius, all
Yeah.
in the Caesar family, all the males were Julius, all
Yeah.
the females were Julia.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, been going down this massive rabbit hole of like ancient Greece, ancient Rome, ancient Egypt, and how they all tie in together. Like
Yeah.
it was so fucking incestuous. Um,
The,
and it makes me think, like, how the fuck did they build the pyramids? Like there had to be technology.
well, it's funny because I watch Ancient Aliens for fun. Okay. It also raises a couple questions, like because every time they'll bring in like an expert who's not an ancient alien theorist, like they'll go to like Machu Picchu,
Mm,
and the guy's like, "There's no way to make that without a laser." He's like, "I'm telling you right now, I've been doing this job for 30 fucking years. There's no way to cut like that without a laser. Not
mhm.
through that rock. It's not fucking happening." So the question is always out there, right? Plus, pyramids are so before people had the ability to like call each other up and talk to each other, there's pyramids everywhere. That structure, yes, I know it's sound, right? It's the one that doesn't fucking fall apart. But they did like an overhead scan of Antarctica, and there's a fucking pyramid buried under whatever ice and
Yeah,
snow up in that motherfucker.
yeah.
And yes, I know Pangea, like we were all together at one point, and then it fucking broke apart. But like these motherfuckers had pyramids all over the place.
But
And
they've
I don't know,
also
man.
found that like the pyramids in South America geographically line up with the pyramids in Africa,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Egypt, and shit like that. Um, and also another thing I just learned about. Have you heard about the Thunderstone
no,
in Russia?
uh-uh.
So they've got like this 12,000 ton fucking stone, and they carved a statue out of it too. But
Right,
it originated in Egypt. And so they've transported this 1,200 or 1,200,000 or 12,000, yeah, I think it
right,
was 12,000 ton stone from Egypt to fucking Russia over
yeah,
water. And it worked
yeah,
out that they were putting in these massive logs as a raft or massive
right.
barge. And then in order to keep this barge steady, they had three warships either side in order to
Oh, like
transport
tied up to it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Holy
to
shit.
transport this stone. But again, we can't think that these ancient civilizations were dummies and working with fucking
No, they're not,
proper
dude.
tools and
Look,
shit.
man. So who was it? Aristotle made um uh the ship grabber. So
Hmm.
like again, there weren't fucking dummies, right? It was this thing that came up under the water, so when an enemy ship docked, it would just crush the ship. Like these metal hands would come up and crush it. You have Da Vinci, like they were very, very smart. They're very fucking smart. So not to think that they didn't come up with anything, no, right? But how are you getting something that makes a cut that only something that like fires up the fucking heat of a laser can cut? Like now I have questions,
Yeah,
right? Like I'm not. I hate the term. We talked about this before. I hate the term conspiracy theorist because every time you want to question something, people automatically just claim you as that. I'm like, why can't I ask questions?
yeah,
Right. So if the question is, what is that fucking the frequency that keeps playing from fucking space and has been for like 30 years? Where's that coming from?
mm,
Like I got questions. And the amount of shit that we could do on Earth, dude, I think we're hiding. Oh, I mean, of course we are, right? But like, we can do all this fucking wild shit. We haven't found anything. And I know it was like, oh, well, we did find an alien. That's fine, but there's got to be more.
there's got
There
to
just
be.
fucking has to be, dude. Like, they just sent a probe that made it all the way to like Pluto and took a fucking picture to find out that Pluto hasn't orbited the sun like on time or whatever. I'm like, that's a far ways away. Like, how the
Yeah,
fuck? Like,
yeah.
what do you got a remote control on that motherfucker? I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. But I
Well,
got
like,
yeah,
there was another thing I saw recently as well, is that they found in one of the pyramids, they found a discarded sarcophagus that
right,
had been cut wrong. And I had like
right,
a 12-inch cut that was off. It was offline, right?
Right.
And they said, like, if we think that they were using copper tools, there's no way they would have made that mistake, because to use
Yep.
copper tools to cut through granite would have taken forever to do.
Right.
And so, how do you go off track with copper tools? There has to be
Right.
something that they were
That
using.
just went right through. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
butter.
Now,
And
I
again,
honestly,
not saying they're
I
not
believe,
smart. They just didn't have the technology to do that.
yeah, that's it. Well, I honestly believe if it wasn't for Caesar burning down the Library of Alexandria, we'd have a lot of these answers.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of knowledge was lost when that library was burnt down.
Yeah.
And but then again, like, how many civilizations were before the ancient
Right.
world? You know, the antiquity, whole lot. How many
Right. That we have
civilizations were before them?
information for. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're
Um.
still like the ancient Egyptians are finding shit maybe and go, how the fuck was that done?
Yeah. Um. Let me ask you a hypothetical question. Alien invasion comes. You don't know if it's going to be good or bad. Alien invasion comes. Do you want to be alive to see that?
Fuck yeah.
Like, do you want to be here? Say it's War of the Worlds, and they're like, "Fuck you guys," and they come like 3 body problem, and they're like, "You motherfuckers got to go." Are you gonna like huck a backpack on and be like, "Get a gun, motherfucker"? Like we're taking on some aliens. Like, where do you want to be during that time?
Well, honestly, I think it would be useless, because I mean, if they had the technology to make it as far as to get to us, I mean, we're obsolete anyway. But that being said, I honestly don't think they'd even bother with us. Because you think about it, we are
Because we're
1%, our
Stone Age
DNA,
compared to that, right?
yeah, but our DNA is 1% different to a chimpanzee fucking Z. Now, chimpanzee is still super fucking smart, but can't do
Yeah,
half of the shit that we can do as humans.
right,
Now, if these aliens are coming that far, we are, yeah, we're nothing to them. We're a bunch of chimps. We're
right.
dummies. So I don't even think we'd be a threat.
How fucking cool would it be though, right? You're out, you're smoking on the fucking front, and like an alien ship shows up, and they're like, "Nate, we came from galaxies to fucking find you. You are allowed to have any superpower you want because we can just make it happen. Like we have the technology to just fucking make you Superman. Like you're gonna be that fucking person." Like how dope would that be?
That would be
To be
awesome.
like, what motherfucker? Like, I'll take that fucking job. Because for them, you figure it's like clicking a switch, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, like this part of your brain already does that. You motherfuckers are just dumb as shit. You didn't know that. That'd be awesome. Dude, I would totally be a hero, man. I don't think I'd be a villain.
If that's the case, then what superpower would you ask for?
That's really fucking tough, man. Because I'm a comic book person, right?
Yep.
So in order to get all of them, right, without being like Franklin Richards, you're an Omega level, you can create like multiverses in your fucking room. You have to go with the Superman archetype. He's got it all, right? He's got fucking totally unrealistic super strength. Like he's got all that stuff. He's got the eye lasers. He's got the X-ray vision. He's got all that stuff. Plus, but then there's issues with that. Like, do you want to hear everybody on Earth at once? Like, I know he deals with that, but he deals with that in a comic. Imagine
Yeah.
not being able to turn that off.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even jam shit in your ears and shit. Like, that's why he's got the Fortress of Solitude. He's like, fuck all you guys. I want to go up there. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to go with Superman.
Yeah, see,
Because,
for me, I think I'd say, all right, look, give me the power to manipulate space and time. Then you could essentially do anything.
yeah, but you could do anything as fucking Superman, too.
Well, I guess if you got super speed, you know, fly faster than speeding bullet, like you could
Yeah,
essentially.
but then you're breaking physics because everyone knows that they did a book called The Science of Superman where they
Okay.
talked about, and I've heard people do that. I'm fascinated when I hear stuff like this. If you can move, let's just say the speed of Flash, right? His thoughts come in attoseconds. That's how fast he is. And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go check on Africa." Comes back, Africa's clean, right? So if you could move that fast, you would not be able to move because at the speed that your body's moving, the air pressure that comes off of a fucking twitch of your muscle is going to destroy a mile's worth of shit just based on the air pressure. A friend of mine who was studying physics told me that. He's
Yeah,
like, you
well,
can't have super speed. He's like, has anyone ever swung their hand past you and you feel like the brush of air? He's like, now imagine if someone did that going this fast, it wouldn't even, it would liquefy you and destroy everything behind you for miles. So you could not have super speed just based on what it's going to do to your body, right? You can't, like, maybe you'd have to tone it down to like 60 miles per hour, but they don't wear goggles. You can't run into the fucking wind at 80 miles per hour. You just can't fucking do that, man. And people, like, that's why I like the movie. Like, I know the director had a problem years ago. A found footage movie called Chronicle came out. Chronicle is a fucking great movie. These kids get powers from a meteor, and it's all steady cam, so like it looks real, right? But when they go flying, they wear slickers. You go up and it's fucking water, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna go up there and it's gonna be wet, so it covers a lot of that stuff. So I like when people talk about that. Like my friend Joe, shout out to PZ Headed Joe. He's a scientist. He used to do car stuff. Now he's in the sciences. So I called him up one time because me and Howie played this game called The Forest. In the forest, you get a certain amount of things in your backpack. You get 5 rocks. You get 5. It's too much, right? So I send him the list, and he sends, and I was howling because this is stuff I don't have the information for. I said, could you carry it? He's like, dude, you would put that, if you had enough muscle to carry that stuff around, your bones would just shatter. Like the human body is not built to have that much weight, like that much mass on you. He's like, so you have to be 1,200 pounds of muscle, but then at that point you wouldn't be able to move your own body. And I was like, oh yeah. Like, so when I hear about like the science of superheroes, especially stuff like flying, right, or speed, I'm just like, yeah, like you can't, like that wouldn't work. Like every time the Flash runs by everybody, like all that happens is like some papers fly up in the air. He would light people on fire when he passed them.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent, again, of something flying past you really fast, and like, dude, a truck can pass by you going fast enough and it almost blows you down. That's a truck. Then when 90,
yeah, that's
now
a fair
going
point.
the speed of fucking light. Yeah,
that's
dude,
not even
just,
something
like,
I thought about.
He said that about Superman's eyelashes. I was fucking dying, dude. It was my friend Nick. He's like, if Superman winked at you doing the speed it does, just the air pressure coming off his eyelashes would flay you like a fish and destroy everything behind you. I was like, holy shit. So I like hearing about stuff like that. Like, see, that to me ruins comics. Not that they have some mental PTSD stuff going on. When people start going into that shit, I'm like, well, yeah, I know it's not real. Like, you can't fucking do that. Like, if you woke up tomorrow with super strength, like, I could pick up this tank. You'd be able to pick up the tank, but your bones would shatter like glass.
Yeah.
You can't fucking, like, so I don't know. It's weird. But I do want superpowers. I've always done. And I got 2 shots and still didn't get any. So I'm upset.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. All I got was a heart palpitation.
Yeah, really.
Hey, while we're on the whole comic thing, we've been talking about
Yes.
comics and superheroes quite a lot this episode. What's the deal? I need you to have a rant. What's the deal? What's your gripe with Lobo lately? Because I know you're a Lobo guy, and something's been pissing you off, and I've kind of missed the point somewhere.
So when he was independent, basically from the larger superhero world, he did like he kills God, he kills the devil. They both kick him out of fucking heaven and hell. He kills all his own kids. It's a lot of fantastic. Like, he takes 1,000 bullets to the fucking face and shit like that. As soon as you start to put him in regular comics, though, you have to not have any of that, right? It doesn't work. So there's a run in Superman going down right now, written by Joshua Williams, who I love. The guy's awesome. But with one stroke of a pen, he completely changed like the Zarnian history completely. And then in one of the things, like, now every time he shows up basically to get bitched out, right? Like, he's not feared anymore. Like, people talk about him like, you should be afraid of this guy. And then he shows up and he just gets fucking chumped out all the time. Kind of like what happened with the Incredible Hulk, right?
Oh, okay,
and tell you, we need a big, bad, fucking stronger. No one can beat the Hulk. The Hulk gets beat all the time now. Because whenever you want to bring in somebody that can do some damage, you're like, that's okay, call the Hulk. And the Hulk gets slapped around and leaves, but he's still the most feared. Like, that doesn't, it doesn't make sense. So the character doesn't have a lot of respect going for him. And I can see why they can't get the engines running on a run for him, because Now, whatever's going on with him is so fucking like now he's not immortal because heaven and hell kicked him out. Now Zarnians are just immortal. Like, and that wasn't even established. That was just written currently because Brainiac wants to be immortal. So that's why he's pulling them both together. But like he shows up, he had one fight with Superman where like they both hooked each other a couple times, and then again he changes sides. He's afraid of fucking Brainiac. I'm just like, these things don't make fucking sense. That they just don't. But at the rate it is now, I'm never gonna get the version I want anyway. Like they're never just gonna do them right. So I'm just gonna. So it's kind of what I tell comic book fans all the time. If you like the new 52 Superman, he's always gonna be there. If you like the George Reeves Superman, he's always gonna be there. You can't worry about continuity because things always have to change. Like things always have to change. So it makes no sense to complain about it. Just like the version that you like. But if you start having a fucking panic attack every time they change something about the character that you like, you're gonna be very upset all the time. Because everyone gets fucked with. Superman at one point had lightning powers, and then he died, and then he fucking came back, and then they changed him to the new 52 one. At one point, he was a fireman, and he wasn't a reporter. Like, you can't. I got too much stress in my life as it is, man. The last thing I want to do is worry about what somebody drawn on fucking, pages. I can't. I
Dude, you
can't.
should you got 2 weeks. You should sit down and write a whole fucking comic book based on Lobo the way you see it, like based on the real life Lobo even, and then just send it in and go, guys, this is how I see Lobo as. You should do a run like this.
It'd be really cool. I know people in the industry. I don't want to name drop. I know artists for DC. I know artists who do independent stuff. Could I put something together? Yeah. In the summer, probably the best time to do it. I have a couple ideas floating around anyway. Like I wrote something, sent it out to a couple people who wanted to read it, and it was awesome. But I don't know. I just don't have. I don't know. It's a whole different realm of like. I was drawn into a comic that was fucking cool. That was cool. Had Hunter's name across the back of my vest. It was done by one guy who I love as an artist. Anyway, we just happened to connect through my buddy Mike, who works for DC. We're both lifters. We talked about it. He put me in issue 1 of Swamp Thing Green Hell. Like there I am, right there with the Hunter Thompson fucking sleeve and everything.
That's fucking
It was
cool.
really cool. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I missed the boat on the whole writer thing. I can write really well. Like detail wise, I'm amazing. And I don't usually toot my own horn like that. I could put together a really, really compelling look about something and explain it really well. I just don't I don't have the time to sit down and think about ideas on the long term like Stephen King does, right? Whereas I have this story, like he puts out 4 fucking novels a year. Like that dude cranks. And I'm just like, I can't think about shit like that. Like it's a curse, right? I can write really well, but can't put a story together and make it interesting from front to back. I just I don't know. I don't know what I mean.
Well, before we wrap things up, man, I do have one more gripe. I've been, like I say, I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. It's bothered me all fucking week. So, did you see the because I shared the TikTok in the group that Christine shared to me. Northwest.
I didn't. Okay.
Okay, so there was a broad, I think it was Broadway, but there was a theater version of The Lion King, and it was done for the 30th anniversary of The Lion King.
Right.
Okay? Now there were 4 kids who had been shortlisted. They'd already auditioned 4 times. They were on. It was now down to these 4 kids who was going to play Simba.
Right.
And all these kids, professional theater actors. They do musicals all the time. They've been trained. And so
that's what they do.
Down to these 4. And then who comes in but the man of the GQ's Man of the Year, Kim Kardashian, as she goes, I want North to play this role. She pays off the producers. And they're like, we're not sure. Now, to add to this, I don't know how much truth there is to this, but then fucking apparently Gypsy Rose Blanchard walks in as Northwest's manager and says, my client is going to have this role. And they're like, okay, well, yep, you've paid us. We'll give North the role. This is when rehearsals are. As she said, oh no, my client does not rehearse. Now, I watched a clip on TikTok of Northwest playing Simba,
How
and
bad is it?
it's shocking, man. It's shocking.
It's
Yeah,
bad.
it's bad, man. Like,
Good.
she's off key. Some of it, she's just screaming. Um, a few of the actors on stage have had to pull her in different directions so she's in the right spot
Right.
where she's
Right.
meant
She
to
doesn't know where her
be.
marks are. Yeah.
Doesn't know where her marks are. And so it's driving me fucking nuts because there's all this nepotism now. I mean, not now, it's been happening for fucking years with Jaden
I
Smith, Willow
don't.
Smith, and
Yeah.
all of that. But I think it's bullshit that Kim K can and Kanye West can throw money somewhere and just get a role for their kid. Like Christine said, Northwest kind of has the ego of Kanye and the talent of Kim K. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and
They
that's not
they
to knock on a 10-year-old girl. Like, this is not her fault. But like, what the
no,
fuck
but
are
it
her
is her
parents?
responsibility.
It
It's a
is like
responsibility.
she should have been at rehearsals. She should have
Right.
fucking had
Right.
singing lessons or
Right.
whatever. But
Right. And that the Mark Maxon thing. You you can only be two things: at fault or responsible. She might not be at fault that she's basically a piece of shit in the making because of her fucking attitude, but she is responsible now to be like, wait a minute, all these kids tried out and you're just going to walk me on? That doesn't seem right, right? But again, that's a like I not the kids because they could still be saved. But if I found out tomorrow that entire family died in a fucking plane crash, I would get a shirt made that says it's about fucking time.
and
Like,
look,
like,
Jai's
yeah,
Jai's Jai's made a really good point here. She goes, look, she is 10. She's only acting 10, and she's a really sweet girl. So, and
right.
again, like, I want to clarify, this is not North's fault.
No, it's got nothing to do with her. It's got
No.
nothing to do with her.
So I'm not saying that I'm not pissed off at North. I'm not upset about that
Right.
aspect of it. I'm pissed off at the fact that her parents think that they can just buy shit like
But they
this.
can. It's not that they think they can. This is what they do. This is what they do.
Yeah. And like
And
Jai's also said, like, Nepo babies aren't a new thing either, because Jamie
no,
Lee
it's not.
Curtis
It's
is a
not.
Nepo
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
So
No,
again,
it's not, and they haven't been, but she is famous for fucking blowing a guy. Her family's famous, but she is famous for blowing a dude. I talk to Jai all the time about like early Kanye. Dude, that motherfucker was a brilliant musician.
fuck
He
yeah.
was a fucking he was lyrically, he's dope. And like I said, she met him and said he was like the most gracious person on the planet until he ran in with these motherfuckers.
Mm.
And now the conspiracy is that it's not even him. Dude, you hear this one? It's not him, it's a replacement.
Oh,
They
it's a
killed the
clone.
original one.
Yeah, and
I was
apparently
like, what
Britney's.
the fuck?
But they're saying the same thing about Britney Spears. They reckon now that the Britney on Instagram and shit is a clone. And they try justifying it by doing a photo of her throughout the years. They reckon Eminem is a clone. You know, like, it's not the same Eminem from the early 2000s. He's a clone. Motherfucker, people age. People look
Yeah,
different as they get older.
yeah.
So, like I say, I don't have an issue with North. My issue is the fact that her parents bought the role for her and then thought that um she's just so special that she doesn't even have to rehearse.
Right. Well,
Like,
coming from her mom who's never had to do anything and then complain that other people don't like to work, I didn't expect anything different. But people watch it because she's an idiot. So it's kind of like a train wreck. Like, what is she going to do next? But
yeah.
now you're fucking up your kid.
Yeah, that's it. So that's what had me pissed off all week, and that's why I got to get off fucking social media, man. It's doing my head in.
See,
I'm
I didn't
tempted
even
to
know that
throw
until
the
you
whole
said it.
fucking internet in the bin.
Yeah, I know. I know. But
Just
we
done
can't.
with it, man. No, we can't.
However, as we come to a close, remember next week
Next week.
next week is the annual best/worst Father's Day gifts And if you've listened to any of the back catalog, we howl on those. So this was a little bit more serious. Fuck you guys. Who cares? We do it every once in a while. The Father's Day gift list is one of the best ones. I've listened to those back ones, both of them, at least 100 times a piece. They're fucking hilarious. So do not miss it. Come and hear us read a real list, not made up. Me and Nate do not write these. The one was from Forbes, the other one was from New York Times. There will be another list. At the first one I find is the one that we're going to go with. If it's great stuff, it's great stuff, but it never has been. And I can't fucking wait. I'm really excited.
It's always corny shit.
Shout out to my future sister-in-law, Jen. She has her own show on HGTV called Who's Afraid of a Cheap Old House? She's the interior designer. The fucking show is actually a lot of fun. It's HGTV, so of course it's like flipping houses and dealing with houses and stuff like that. But what she does,
but you were telling us about the firehouse a couple of weeks ago.
Yo, fucking dude, so dope. So dope. So if you have an HGTV, I think it's at like 7 or 8. I mean, you can look it up or whatever. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere, but it's fucking really cool. It's really cool. Anything else you want to fucking plug off?
Yeah, actually.
Comics and coffee, of course. Comics on coffee. Go get fucking coffee. I just got the Superman and the Batman one. The Superman's got vanilla in it, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking good, man. It's good.
Guys, if you're listening to this on the streaming services, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever, we're on YouTube. Get onto the Not So Secret Dad's Business YouTube page. You can join us live. Get in the chat. You could say your piece if you want. You know, we'd love to have you. And do us a favor.
If you do get anything that we like, look, you ain't getting a fucking discount. We ain't got poll like that, right? But if you get anything from any of these places and I ask where you heard from it, name the fucking show. Like, that'd be really cool. Because Comics on Coffee, dude, look, I'll take a sponsor of fuck Comics on Coffee. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of American stuff real quick, I tried that, Old Smoky every once in a while. We've had Rob on and he's sitting there sipping his mason jar of shine. I tried the Old Smoky Tennessee shit and got the peanut butter flavor. Tastes just like American peanut butter. It's
no shit, really?
Yeah, man. Like, because our peanut butter tastes completely different.
Right, because we jam all ours with fuck, yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Mixed it with a little bit of Sprite. Not a bad.
All right, so drink fucking coffee for me and get hammered on whiskey for Nate. And when you go to those places, be like, we heard you guys on these fucking shows. Go listen to them and tell people.
That's it. All right, so guys, if you do want to join us on YouTube for the show while we're live, you can join us 9 p.m. Saturday night, EST in the US, or 11 a.m. Sunday morning here in Sydney, Australian.
And in between, you're gonna have to figure it out on your own. We're not going through all the fucking time.
No, and then look, if you miss it and you want to look at our ugly faces and catch the uncut live version, look. You could go onto the YouTube, go into the live playlist. You could see all the live there. And also there's a podcast playlist, so you can sit there and listen to the edited version too, if you really want to.
And go watch Sal Volcano's fucking stand-up. It's called Terrified. It's amazing.
I'm going to check that one out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for us this week. We're going to get out of here. We love you, and we're going to leave you. Peace.